What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Braveheart Poker. Alright, welcome back, everybody. It has been 3 months since my last video, and over the summer was a pretty crazy one for my family and I. We moved out of a rental trying to buy a place, and that process was delayed, and so we were a little bit homeless for 2.5 months or so. We always had a roof over our head, but it was a rough scenario. So now we are in our house, and everything is coming back to normal, and I've got my little office here, and so now I can make content again. So I'm super excited about that, and thanks for bearing with me. Alright, last video I announced that I would be giving away $100 to one of my subscribers. The only requirement was that they shared a link to one of my videos on social media somewhere, put a hashtag Braveheart Poker, and then commented saying that you did so. So 2 people commented saying that they shared the video. So I'm just going to give each of you $100, William and Mark. I have to go out and find the post where the video was shared, but assuming that I can find that video, then we'll connect on Instagram or something, and I will send you each the money. So if the post is older for the 2 of you and it's hard to find, maybe just repost, and if I find a new one, I'll count it and I'll send you $100. So congratulations to Mark and William. Alright, so in this video here, I am playing a Resorts World tournament. 300 guaranteed tournament, and that's exactly what the prize pool ended up being, was 3,000. So we had 2 tables, and it went pretty well. And so hopefully I got my first on a Hendonmob tournament. So let's see how it goes. Alright, so here we are in the tournament, and if you watch my other videos, you've seen that I've played a cash game at Resorts World previously, and that was earlier in the day of this tournament, and so my phone did not have the battery needed to record everything, so I kind of jump in here late to recording after a ridiculous good run. You can see my chip stack here is a lot larger than anybody else's. I essentially for an hour just won every pot that I played. Pretty much I had a hand every time that I played. So it's always nice to have crazy runs like that. And it was much needed because at the beginning of the tournament I ran very, very cold. Just lost every hand, couldn't get any hands to play, but then it turned around. Here in this one, I was able to catch the last bit of the amazing run. Here in this one, I was on the button, and I called a raise with ace-9 off and flopped ourselves 3 of a kind with the best kicker possible. It checks to me, small blind, big blind check, and I decided to bet 2,000, which was not very big. The small blind thought about it for a while before folding and ended up saying that he had 10 jack. So I'm pretty surprised that we got a fold from 10 jack there, considering most people that flop trips don't raise it. They play it slow, they play it trappy, and I wasn't going to do that. Here in this one, we managed to find ourselves in a pot with jack deuce offsuit. It goes check on the flop, we turn ourselves second pair, it goes check check to the river, and we ended up winning at showdown against 7 deuce. So that was very fortunate of us to be able to play a terrible hand and win anyway. Here in this one, continuing the good run, we have 4-6 suited in the blinds. We ended up making a call of a 2.5x raise and flop ourselves bottom pair and a backdoor flush draw. It does go check check, and we turn ourselves 2 pair. I lead for 4K, and we're not getting any customers here. Once again, the big blind, the player in seat 1, thinks about it for a little bit, but then folds, and then we get a fold quickly after that. We're playing short-handed here, trying to get to the final table. Here in this one, we have ace jack offsuit. It gets limped on the button, and then the small blind limps, and we're in the big blind, and we go ahead and raise this one up to 7,000. Now, I am expecting our friend to our right, who is a very, very solid player, to have a pretty limited range here. He does make the call, and we go heads up to the flop, and it's a decent flop. We flop ourselves second pair, top kicker with a backdoor straight and flush draws. So when he checks it to me, I go ahead and make a small C bet of 3,500. And our friend, the super solid guy, raises to 9,000. So we get check raised here. But I think that you can reasonably make the call here and float and see one more card. Unfortunately, we get the 7 of clubs, so we don't get a 10 queen or diamond to improve our hand, or jack or ace would have been nice also. And our friend bets 25,000, which is just such a massive bet. Like the bet alone is more than some of the stacks that you see on the screen. Him and I are the only two people that could even battle at this level. And so I put him on King Jack or Pocket Sixes. Those are the only two hands that I can see playing this way, except maybe 10 Queen suited, 10 Queen of Diamonds exactly. Because I don't think that this player is going to be barreling with flush draws, especially when it's not the nut flush draw, since we have the diamond blocker for it. So I essentially put him on Pocket Sixes. And I do make the fold, and we'll battle with this player many, many more times. Here in this hand, we have Ace Jack once again offsuit. It gets raised, and we make the call, and we're going heads up to a flop where we get ourselves top pair and a flush draw on an all diamond board. In this spot, we're hoping he bets, which he ends up doing. He leads for 2,200 once again, and I'm not going anywhere. But I just call. There's no point in raising just yet. We want to keep all of his bluffs in there. The turn, we get ourselves a straight draw to go along with our flush draw on top pair. He checks it to me, and I now bet 4,000, which is still pretty small compared to the size of the pot. Trying to keep him in there with a lot of hands. But unfortunately, if you don't have a diamond or a big pair here, you just can't continue. And that's eventually what ends up happening here is he folds. I do show my cards here, especially when I'm running well and hitting a lot of hands, because I don't know, I'm overly friendly. You shouldn't show your cards ever, but I do too often. Here in this one, we get the button, and this one is probably the second biggest hand of the tournament so far. This one's a pretty big one. The player under the gun accidentally min raises. They put too much out, and then the dealer said, "No, I'm sorry, you have to make it a raise." So they raised it up, and then it folds to our buddy Jack, who is sitting to our right. And he's a super, super nice guy, and he ends up 3-betting to 7,300, and I have ace king, and I just jam. I just go all in. I have lost a pretty significant chunk of my stack once I moved over to this side of the table, somewhere in between, and we show down our ace king after Jack makes a snap call, and he's got ladies, but we hit an ace on the flop, no queen on the turn or river, and we end up getting a massive, massive double up. We've got about 95,000 now in front of us, and Jack was left crippled. A little bit later, I asked Jack if I could use his name. He said, yeah, no problem. He was a super, super nice guy, and we will play more hands with him in the future. So we've got Jack on our right, and we've got our buddy from earlier with the pocket sixes on our immediate left. So unfortunately, we do not have position on our buddy on our left anymore, but we will still tangle with him a couple more times this tournament. All right, here in this one, I have ace queen suited, and Jack goes all in with a small stack of, I think, 11-8. And I didn't put any graphics on the board because it was just a real simple, easy all-in pre-flop. He had pocket fives, and I did not hit a ace, queen, or a bunch of diamonds. And so I double up Jack, but he deserved it because I won that big flip already. So, you know, he got one back. Not even, but that's the way poker goes. All right, here in this one, we battle our buddy to the to our left. I don't remember his name. I'm pretty sure he gave me permission to use it, but I don't remember what it was. So sorry to you for forgetting your name. Here in this one, we get a call from the monster stack in seat 9, and I limp. And then our friend to our left raises up to 5,500. We showed a lot of weakness, so he could be doing this with a lot of hands. And we have connectable suited cards, so we go ahead and make the call for 5,500. And we end up flopping ourselves a deuce. Deuce in the window, and deuce isn't very good. We have a backdoor flush draw, so we just check, and our friend c-bets to 9,000. If you end up making a light call with 5 deuce or something like that, and you flop yourselves a pair on a board that could go either way, I'm just gonna call the c-bet and see what happens on the turn. Like if I hit my pair, I'm gonna continue. It ends up going check check on the turn and river, and we do end up winning with our pair of deuces. So had to stick with it for one round of betting, but we got it. All right, so here we are at the end. I don't know why I didn't get full footage of this, maybe because everything happened so fast. But we are playing 6-handed towards the end of the tournament, and Jack jams all in. I look down on the button at pocket jacks, and I decide in this spot to just make the call here. And then our friend to our left ends up going all in. And the all in was for a bigger amount than I was happy with pocket jacks. But because I had already called jacks all in, I was priced in. There was too many chips in the pot for me to fold. So I ended up calling the all in. And so now we've got 2 players at risk, and I have jacks. And as you can see on the board, I ended up winning a huge freaking pot. And this made me chip leader or close to chip leader with the guy that I talked about a little bit earlier, the guy in seat 9. And we got a double elimination. So huge thanks to Katrina for giving me the card I needed on the river. Katrina was our dealer during this hand and the last couple hands, and she is amazing. Absolutely loved when she was at the table. She was so friendly. Everybody at Resorts World is just so friendly and nice. It was ridiculous, and yeah. So thanks again to the staff at Resorts World. So after this hand, we get down to a 4-handed, as there was a double elimination, and the gentleman in seat 9, who had pretty much the same size stack as I had, he said, "Look, I'll offer this one time. We'll each take 1,100, referring to me, and we'll give 400 to each of the other 2 players remaining who had shorter stacks." And the 2 shorter stacks jumped on that opportunity right away. And I agreed because I had already won my cash game earlier in the day, and it was getting pretty late, and I wanted to lock up another win. And so I agreed to it, and the gentleman and I chopped first for this tournament, and Resorts World reports to the Hendonmob. And so I think it's my smallest cash on the Hendonmob, and it is my only first place cash on the Hendonmob. So that is that's pretty cool. I didn't know that they did that, but I was on there for something else. And I looked down there and I thought the numbers looked just a smidge funny. And there's only a couple, I only have a couple tournament caches that are on there. And so when I saw it, I thought that was super cool. So if you are lacking in your Hendonmob caches and you are in Vegas, then stop by Resorts World and play one of their daily tournaments, and maybe you could get your first cache on the Hendonmob. All right, thank you everybody for watching and for bearing with me. I'm a little bit out of practice. It takes a little bit to get into it. I did go to my buddy Heim a couple days ago, and I've wanted this shirt made since last year, but it is all I want for Christmas are tight folds and loose calls. So I am super pumped about it. I've been super pumped since I went down there and had to make it. So huge thanks to Heim for making that shirt, and if any of you decide that you want one, then DM me on Instagram. Alright, thank you everybody very, very much for watching. Thanks for hitting that like and subscribe button. Have a good one, and we'll catch you next time.